Let me welcome you to the wonders of the world. Lorraine and I are very fortunate. On our travels, we've seen all 7 wonders of the world. So sit back, relax, while we take you into the Peruvian mountains to see a little place called Machu Picchu. This next slide gives you the essential needs to know before you visit Machu Picchu. The following slide gives you the top highlights and things to do while you're there. I want you to imagine the Emperor standing high in the Andes Mountains, surrounded by steep jungle-covered peaks and drifting clouds. Below his feet, the Umbra River was winding through the valley, nearly 2,000 feet below him. The Emperor's decision to build on that specific mountain range is often cited by modern ecologists and engineers as a masterpiece of environmental harmony and sustainability. Hidden amongst clouds and jungle-covered peaks stands a city that really should not exist. A city built of stone, balanced on the edge of a mountain, nearly 8,000 feet above the valley's floor. For centuries it remained invisible to the outside world, forgotten by history, protected by geography. Today we know it as Machu Picchu, a place of mystery, engineering brilliance, and breathtaking beauty. Protected by geography and forgotten by history. Yet the stones you see here today, they still tell the story of an extraordinary civilization. The Incas built without iron tools, without wheels, and even without a written language. And yet they created cities that fit so perfectly into the landscape that they appear almost part of the mountain itself. Machu Picchu was not their largest city, it was not even their capital, but it may well be their most beautiful. A royal sanctuary high in the Andes, where architecture, engineering, agriculture, and astronomy all work together with nature. And when you stand here today, looking across those terraces and the temples surrounded by the clouds and the mountains, you realize something rather remarkable. This place was built more than 500 years ago, and yet it still feels timeless. Proof that sometimes the greatest achievement in human history are not the biggest or the tallest, but the ones that built so perfectly into harmony with the world around them. One of the most important buildings in Machu Picchu is the Temple of the Sun. The Incas worshipped the sun as their most powerful god, known as Inti, and this temple was built to honor him. Unlike most of the rectangular buildings in the city, the temple is circular, which immediately tells archaeologists something very important. Circular buildings in the Inca world were reserved for the most sacred purposes. Look closely at the stonework. The blocks are cut so precisely they fit together without mortar. In fact, a sheet of paper cannot be slid between the two of them. But the real genius of the temple is hidden in the windows. During the winter solstice, the rising sun shines directly through one of those windows, illuminating the ceremonial stone inside, which allowed the Inca priests to track the seasons and determine when to plant and when to harvest crops. So the temple was not only a place of worship, it was also a remarkable, accurate solar observatory. Not bad for a civilization without telescopes, clocks, or electricity. From the Temple of the Sun being one of the most important buildings, we now move on to one of the most mysterious places in Machu Picchu, the Temple of the Condor. At first glance, it simply looks like a large carved stone. But when you step back, something remarkable appears. The stone forms the wings of a condor, and the carved rock below becomes the bird's head and its beak. The condor was one of the most sacred animals in the Inca world. It represents the upper world, the realm of the gods in the sky. The Incas believed the condor carried messages between humans and the heavens, which makes this location far more than a clever stone carving. It was a ceremonial place where rituals connected the earth world to the spiritual world. And just beside the temple, archaeologists discovered a small cave and a prison cell, which suggests this may have also been the place of ritual sacrifices. A reminder that Inca spiritualization could be both beautiful and terrifying. And finally, we come to the most famous stone in Machu Picchu, the Inti-Utana. Its name means the hitching post of the sun, which sounds rather unusual because, of course, you cannot tie the sun to anything. But the Incas believed this stone symbolically held the sun in its place, so it would never disappear from the sky. The stone sits at the highest point of the city, and its angles align with the cardinal direction north, south, east, and west. During the equinox, the sun passes almost directly overhead, and the stone casts almost no shadows whatsoever, allowing Inca priests to determine the exact moment the seasons changed. But the Inti-Utana is something else. Its a carved shape mirrors the peaks of the mountains surrounding Machu Picchu, which means the stone was not just observing the sky, it was also honoring the landscape. In the Inca world, the sun, the mountains, and the earth were never ever separated. They were all part of the same sacred universe. When most visitors arrive at Machu Picchu, they see magnificent temples, stone walls, and dramatic mountain scenery. But hidden in plain sight is something even more extraordinary. What you're looking at here is not simply a set of terraces. It is, quite literally, an agricultural laboratory built into a mountain. And it works so well that parts of the system are still studied by modern archaeologists engineering today. Now let's start with the left-hand side of the slide, where we can see the internal structure of the terraces. At first glance, these terraces appear to be similar planting beds, but beneath the crops lies a remarkable, sophisticated design. Each terrace is built in a graduate layer. At the very bottom, large retaining stones provide strength and stability. Above that, layers of gravel and coarse sand allow rainwater to drain away. And finally, the top layer contains fertile soil where the crops grow. The layered system acts like a natural drainage system. During heavy Andean rainstorms, water flows down through the terraces rather than washing the soil away, which is one of the reasons the terraces are still standing today, more than 500 years later. But wait a moment, there is something even more clever. Look at the stone retaining walls. These walls perform a very important function. They absorb the heat from the sun during the day and slowly release that heat into the night. It's in simple terms, they act like thermal batteries. They keep the soil warm after sunset and protect the crops from sudden drops in mountain temperature. It is an elegant solution to farming nearly 8,000 feet above sea level. Because of the mountain's steep elevation, each level experiences slightly different temperatures and moisture conditions. In other words, the Incas created multiple microclimates within a single agricultural system. At the highest level, conditions are cooler and windier. These terraces were ideal for hardy mountain crops. Further down the mountain, the climate becomes slightly warmer and more stable. These temperature terraces supported crops such as beans and maize. These foods form a major part of the Inca diet. A natural defense. The steep, rocky slopes, which were over 600 meters tall, and the winding Urubamba River below protected Machu Picchu on three sides, creating a fortress. The horseshoe bend surrounds the mountain on three sides, demonstrating its near perfect defensive isolation. Hiram Bingham was an American academic and explorer, and his goal was to find the lost city of the Incas. He didn't find the lost city of the Incas, but he did find Machu Picchu. While searching for the lost city of the Incas, Hiram Bingham was led by local farmers to the ruins of Machu Picchu on July the 24th, 1911. If it hadn't been for those farmers and Bingham, we would not have known about Machu Picchu. I'd like to say a big thank you to Hiram and the local farmers, for myself and for the millions and millions of people who've had pleasure visiting Machu Picchu. So Hiram and the farmers, thank you so much. Big thank you. So, whilst Machu Picchu is often admired for its temples and stonework, its true genius may lie in something far more practical. The Incas built a city that could feed itself on the side of a mountain, in one of the most challenging farming environments on earth. A remarkable achievement of engineering, agriculture, and deep understanding of nature. The end. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much, but seeing the wonders of the world and learning all about them was a great experience for me, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you. Travelling, the only way to live.